Oh, are we in for a treat? Sonic Megamix Mania, a complete overhaul mod for Sonic Mania by numerous dedicated individuals, just dropped its full release a couple weeks ago, along with its first update making the rounds just this past weekend. It's been around with its first demo since 2019, and aims to be a reimagining of the old Sonic 1 ROM hack, Sonic Megamix, Hold the Mania, that was led by Simon Tomley, a name you might recognize more as Stealth or as the leader of Headcanon, who worked with Christian Whitehead, among others, to create the original Sonic Mania. The original hack's final public version uploaded to the World Wide Web in 2008. So Megamix Mania is a fan mod of Mania, reimagining a hack whose lead developer helped create the original Mania. A nice full circle moment there. I had yet to experience the OG Megamix myself, but have always heard good things about it, like the level design being solid, the interesting character movesets, and Shadow! Oh my god, best game ever! I changed that for this video though, playing through version 0.4b at the recommendation of the Megamix Mania devs, and while I don't think it's important to play the original hack before Mania's rendition, for reasons we'll get into later, I still wanted to have that authentic experience. It's alright. For sure, a hack you play is more of a history lesson of where things started, as a few bits feel archaic. I played through with Sonic, then messed around in Sunny Shores with everyone else to see what they could do. It's not bad by any means, except for metallic bass, screw you too, buddy. Love Sonic Mania though. But the levels feel fairly empty, and they just use the Sonic 1 aesthetic with a different coat of paint. I'm sure the good old Sonic Stockholm Syndrome of playing the game more makes you better at it, and thusly it becomes more fun. Ah! Not the main channel too, come on. But even if I tried, I think this one would take a lot of getting used to. It was cool to see the Dark Fortress boss sort of emulate what would eventually become the Mirage Saloon Act 1 boss in regular Mania, then Knuckles' version of the Mania boss being repurposed for Megamix Mania's Dark Fortress 2. Also, random Michael Jackson. Really enjoyed Sonic Speed Shoes Remix 2, a light combo of Toot Toot Sonic Warrior and Go 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 from Launch Base. But now, here we are in 2026, most notable for being the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts 2's international release, with a new team's take on a 2D Sonic game sitting before us. I seem to have caught somewhat of a reputation for being a tsundere fan of these games. And first off, don't use your big anime words, I don't know what they mean. I looked it up though, thanks for the compliment. But of course I like this series. My life would be an ever-living hell if I hated Sonic, considering how much time I dedicate to the Speedster. Though, considering this is a Sonic YouTube video, I wouldn't be surprised if you're expecting me to go into this with a negative mindset. But get ready, because this game fucking rocks! Of course, there are a few issues we'll talk about, but Megamix Mania is an overwhelmingly positive experience, and keeps me hooked from front to back. Calling the mod a remake of Sonic Megamix is like calling Breath of the Wild a remake of Zelda 1. A few core ideas are shared, yeah, but this is an entirely different beast. I absolutely adore the 2D gameplay the series provides, when it works anyway.
I don't remember if anyone was there. Did I just clip through that floor? I don't know what happened there. Oh, yeah. I definitely clipped through the floor there.
And to build what is essentially a Mania 2 on top of the already existing game got me so hyped for the project when I played the 0.9 demo in 2024. The presentation and menus are absolutely aces, all full of life, style, and character that not even the original Mania captured as well. The stages look absolutely gorgeous, and the music, oh, it's so good. With Dark Fortress being my current favorite, I just can't help but bob my head to its tune every time, both Act 1 and Act 2. Okay, reeling things in a bit here. Megamix Mania comes with 6 playable characters, the original 5 of Blue Hog, Yellow Fox, Red Echidna, Not Sonic, and Shadow, with Amy also added to the roster. Installing the mod is very streamlined too. On the website, that looks amazing by the way, clicking the download button gives you everything you need. The newest version, which at the time of this video is 1.1, I do not recommend playing the previous versions, and a link to the Mania mod loader. Then, all you have to do is install Mania and its Plus DLC on Steam. Both base Mania and the Encore DLC are required for Megamix Mania to work, and it only works with the Steam version and not the decompilation as of right now. Nor does it work with the Epic Games version or any console version. It's Steam only. Then right-click the game, hover over Manage, then click on Browse Local Files. Then open the zip file of the Mania Mod Manager with your favorite archival program, and drag and drop everything in there straight into the Mania folder. Then I recommend running the Mod Manager executable just to make sure everything's working right, and creating a desktop shortcut for it. Then, again with your favorite archival extraction program, I use 7-zip, I'll link it below the like button. Open the megamixmania.rar file. Then take the folder titled Sonic Megamix Mania Release and drag it into the mods folder. Then open the Mania Mod Manager and click the checkbox next to Sonic Megamix Mania. Then hit save and play. If you'd like to play with Amy instead of Mighty, also check the lock-on mod. They'll share a save file so you won't lose your progress. Also, make sure the Amy lock-on is below the mod itself in the mod manager. Yes, the order does matter. While not ideal, it is a simple toggle and is what I think the best way the team could have gone about this given the limitations. There are plans to move the project to the Mania decompilation eventually though, so down the line this won't be an issue. There's also a manual that comes in the download that's a joy to look at. I really miss these, and it's awesome when fan projects go the extra mile to bring the nostalgia of flipping through pages and seeing small story bits or character movesets. It's just so fun. It also comes with its own written installation instructions to help you as well, but I'll still put all the links to what you need in the process I outlined below the like button of this video too. Now to the cool stuff. Let's talk characters. Blue Boy functions as you'd expect him to, though in place of the drop dash, he instead has the homing attack and light dash. The homing attack isn't really necessary in 2D Sonic, especially one like Mania, but I don't mind its inclusion here. It gets him up to speed as the jump dash would, and with how its targeting works, you can do some silly cheeses to get extra height or distance. It can be annoying when you're trying to jump dash and you accidentally homing attack a target, but I like this. If they were separate moves, the jump dash would easily be the best and quickest way to bring the crack hog up to speed. So if it could just be used freely, you wouldn't have to think about how to gain speed at all because it would always be available to you. And this is classic Sonic, where figuring out how to gain the speed is just as important as maintaining it. So I really enjoy having to be aware of my surroundings before making the decision to jump dash, and this keeps the super peel out and spin dash relevant, though those still have their own benefits like a higher top speed or starting out in a roll. The light dash works like Sonic Adventure 2's, where instead of going on a spline of rings like the modern games, the hog will still perform the move even if the chain is broken a bit. It doesn't fully set his direction though if there aren't enough rings to properly place him, so there is some strategy to performing it, and taking advantage of this can give you some extra height and distance. I don't know if this is possible, but sometimes I find myself in the middle of a ring chain and kind of have to gamble on whether or not I go the right direction. Could holding left or right force the guy to travel along them the way you're pressing? I think that could be nice in an outlier situation like this. With these two moves, I barely miss the drop dash, even though I find that ability super sick. And if it were added, it would just bloat the moveset, so I'm glad the fat was trimmed in that way. A very fun character all around, as our speedy protagonist consistently is. Following the classic formula, all of the characters have the same core moveset of rolling, spin jumping, badnik bouncing, and the spin dash, but have unique abilities that set them apart from each other. It's good to be back. The only downside I found is that a lot of the new abilities are mapped to the B button, and for whatever reason, those remove the ability to charge the spin dash with it. So if you want to rapidly charge the move, you have to mash A and X instead of A and B, which can be a little awkward for the hands. Okay, I need some help here. I'm recording this like 2 days after this segment, and now I can use A and B to rev the spin dash with Sonic, but not A and X. I tried it with Tails, I tried it with Knuckles, and they can only rev the spin dash with A and X and not A and B, so I am ridiculously confused. So if anybody knows what's going on here, please let me know if it's like a controller thing or if it's an actual thing in Megamix Mania. The Big Brain sidekick, of course, brings his signature flight to the table, working exactly as it does in Mania. With the fan-favorite addition of the flight cancel, which is called the airdrop in this game, which I use all the time. I love the shit out of this ability. He also has the tail swipe, which sends out a little wind projectile that can hit things through walls, and finally, holding up and pressing A from a standstill allows him to do a super jump. One of the classic saucy techniques with the Fox is to fly immediately after jumping because he keeps his initial speed from his jump, but the flight reduces the effect of gravity, allowing him to go super high super quickly. The propeller jump kind of does that, but not really. It acts more as a high jump that forces you into flight rather than giving you a big boost like you can from a regular jump. I'll have to do more runs to find places it can be useful. I love the classic gameplay of the yellow guy. His flight mechanics are so fun, especially if you get the speed shoes. Nux not only brings his gliding and climbing abilities to the table, but there's also a new glide cancel of sorts called the glide drop. It can only be done by pressing B during the glide, which is a bit awkward for the hands as it requires a claw grip or fat thumbing the B button to activate. My suggestion would be to allow the glide drop input even in the post-gliding fall state. It would add a lot more nuance to his movement and help things get going again since you can't do much like this anyway. This also helps his other new move, the drill Claw, basically being modern Sonic Stomp from Generations with a small shockwave added on impact that defeats enemies or grabs item boxes. This move can't be performed during his glide, which feels wrong given Adventure 2's take on it, so allowing the glide drop during the falling input can make using this move a lot smoother. And finally, the Knucklehead's landing delay after a glide. If you're unaware, when he lands in 3 and K, you can cancel his landing animation and immediately charge a spin dash. Mania and Beyond forces the full landing animation to play out before you can do another input, and while it's such a small thing, it makes a huge difference. Naturally, Megamix Mania keeps Mania's interpretation of it, but I feel that using the 3 and K variation could really help him out in the flow department, given that it's possible to change in the first place. If it isn't obvious yet, the poor Red Sap is my least favorite character to play as in this, which sucks because I like him a lot. The Echidna is just so sluggish in context to the rest of the cast, but I trust that the devs know what they're doing, so I hope my suggestions are of some use whether they get implemented or not. Next up is our hammer-wielding pink hedgehog, whose gameplay is heavily taken from her base Mania mod by Troop Sushi, who also works on Megamix Mania too. She has the hammer glide, hammer swing, and hammer jump. Great moveset all around. The hammer jump in particular is pretty useful because she's invincible as long as the hammer is swinging. Very nice for bosses especially. The only snag is the hammer jump only working if she's standing still and pressing A, or in the whirly feet animation or beyond and pressing B. This can lead to an awkward time where you think you're going fast enough, try a hammer jump, but end up just hammer swinging instead and kill all the speed. I can see this going both ways like the main hog's jump dash homing attack thing, but I'm in the camp of it being more annoying than strategic, as the hammer jump is for vertical distance rather than horizontal. There's already good balance in not allowing the hammer glide out of a hammer jump, or else she could just clear everything super easily. I would say just at any running speed allow the hammer jump with B, then do the regular hammer attack at a standstill. It really doesn't have much use, and in my eyes is more of a novelty than anything. Finally, we're at Shadow OMG. He can do two things: the double jump, no homing attack for him though, and the jet stomp. A very fast move where he goes diagonally forward and down whichever direction he's facing. And it's made even cooler in version 1.1 because now you can double jump out of a jet stomp if you use it first, or you can recurl after a jet stomp if you double jump first. It's so fun and addicting. It's balanced by having a set speed, so while 1 or 2 helps to get you moving, it's not something that you spam constantly, which I really like. Oh shit, I forgot about Mighty. I'd call him the standard mode of the game. He's got the insta-shield working like it does in 3 and K, because Mania's version lasted half the time and has a really small hitbox for some reason. Thanks, Bally, for that info. Along with his hammer drop and the ability to use the elemental shield powers, since the nasty little pincushion trades them for the jump dash. Also relevant now is that the blue blur no longer attracts rings with the thunder shield, so it doesn't mess with the light dash. He also has a wall kick I usually forget about, but I should probably use it more, and just playing as the armadillo in general. Alright, that's everyone. A great cast with my favorites being Sonic, Tails, and Shadow. Sorry, I'm over you, bud. The other 3 range from okay to good, but there's always the core moveset to fall back on even if the extra abilities aren't as useful. Oh, and also Knuckles has a shorter jump than everybody else like he does in 3 and K and Mania. But of course, the characters are only half the equation, as they also need to have fun levels to run through. Having a strong cast with half-baked levels or the other way around leads to the game only having a lot of potential, so let's see if Megamix Mania does the other job well too. Did you not hear my screaming earlier? Of course it does. It'd be pretty repetitive to break down each level individually because they all use the same elements that remain consistently strong across the whole game. That being a great showcase of the fast top, medium middle, and slow bottom route 2-act structure that Sonic 2 nailed all those years ago. Ugh. With many paths in between to spice up every playthrough. These levels are massive and are bursting with visual fidelity and stellar music backing up your run-throughs. Oh, I want to talk about the music. We'll talk about it soon. Initially, I can break them down into 2 major camps: the speed-oriented stages and the platform-oriented ones. That doesn't mean all the stages don't have speed and platforming, there just seems to be a heavier focus depending on what zone you're in. I'd categorize the speed ones as Sunny Shores, City Outskirts, Starry Night, and Metallic Base Act 2, with the platforming ones being Dark Fortress, Misty Maze, and Metallic Base Act 1. I say initially because I'm sure after playthrough 100 I'll be able to blitz through all of them just fine, but this is the vibe I got from the first few runs. Misty Maze Act 1 is super cool too, because each character has their own unique path except for Amy, who goes through Shadow's path because of the whole lock-on thing. This is such a cool idea as it's kind of the midway point of the game, so it feels very refreshing on your playthrough. I can't deny though that I struggled a lot with Mighty's variant. I think his path could use a lot more air bubble spots because I drowned a lot here. Look man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to forget you. While recording this, I discovered a path in City Outskirts 1 at the very tippy top of the level, and I couldn't stop smiling when it happened. You know how in some older Sonic levels you could go over certain walls and continue on with the stage? Well, Megamix Mania takes that concept and makes it a whole ass new route, and my inner child was just just floored when I found that. Some of my favorite acts are Sunny Shores 1, of course, it's the opening level after all, then Dark Fortress 2, Starry Night 1, and shockingly, Metallic Base 2. The end of the stage unfortunately has some trial and error as you have to outrun a firewall Sonic Boom style, then have to deal with a harder version of the Crusher boss, with Metal Sonic constantly charging at you. Tails gets Short King privilege here though, as Metal Sonic can't hit him even when he's standing up. You go, buddy. There's a life at the checkpoint before the section, so you get infinite retries, and I guess there just really isn't a way to do a set piece like this without just throwing yourself at it until you get it, especially because characters like Sonic and Shadow have a much easier time given their quick forward speed abilities. I can't deny though that after a couple runs it started to be pretty exhilarating, so I'm glad those deaths were worth it, I guess. Every Act 2 ends with a boss, being some variant of a Vanilla Mania one, except with City Outskirts being a more distinct recreation of the Casino Night boss. This one used to be way different in version 1.0, and it was pretty creative, honestly. However, it was very annoying for players gameplay-wise, so I applaud the team's reception to the feedback and changing it to be, while not as creative, unintrusive at worst, which is probably the best spot a classic boss can be in. I'm doing my best to not look at the level maps and trying to explore and find new areas myself, as that's one of my favorite elements of these games. Just getting immersed into the stage and looking around for hidden nooks and crannies with possible goodies, including special stage rings. The special stages are a significant degree more difficult than even the Encore mode stages, though I believe some of them are taken from it. It's been a while since I played that mode. With 6 and 7, look, I have no choice, okay? It's what they're called. Being quite the challenge. And because of that challenge, you'll probably have to farm some rings in Sunny Shores on your first run through after beating the final boss to get the super guys. Every character can go super too, so definitely worth going out of your way to get them, or just using an already completed Mania save file since it transfers the emeralds over. Naturally, they get the extra speed, jump boost, and invincibility the transformations are known to come with. There's also red rings to grab, with a nifty visual indicator in the bottom right along with the screen in the options menu to show you what you've collected, where you've collected them, and what characters needed to collect them with. Version 1.1 also adds a neat reward for nabbing them all, so start hunting. With all of that covered, now would normally be the time where I state my closing thoughts. But not with Megamix Mania, because this mod is ridiculous, as everything I talked about so far is only for Megamix mode. Yeah, there's more than one way to play this mod, alright. Starting with Classic mode. This is a much more faithful recreation of the OG Megamix in Sonic Mania, but maybe a little too faithful at points. No, I swear I like this series. Please don't go, I'll miss you. Regardless, the team went the extra 15 miles here and made new assets for Classic mode that feel more like HD versions of the original Hack's aesthetics over the new direction in Megamix mode, along with remixing the original songs more faithfully. Hi again, Michael Jackson. What a way to honor a legacy. This is my recommendation if you want to experience OG Megamix. As while some of the flaws are still there just by being baked into the design, the modern movesets, widescreen, and controls really help bring out the fun of these stages. And it also remakes some of the content from the unfinished 0.50 version of the original Hack, a great alternative after finishing Megamix mode. If I had no idea what Megamix Mania was and you asked me to describe it, Classic mode is probably what I would imagine. And it's just a side mode of the mod. I swear this team is insane. There, of course, is a standard time attack mode too, if you don't want to worry about the bosses and instead want to reset every single run after 5 seconds with the Y button, but more notably are the Origins S challenge acts, some of which will kick your teeth in, they're so damn hard, definitely made for those super players. There are a few that are easy to get into though, so everyone gets a little slice here. Now with every mode covered, let's talk about the music. God, it's good. It's so good. While I have a few standouts for myself, like Dark Fortress that I mentioned before, every act in every mode is just a joy to listen to. And the team goes even further, giving each character their own version of the speed shoes, invincibility, one-up, and act clear theme. Shadow's invincibility song is a standout for me. I love it when reinterpretations of songs with a guitar-heavy melody add in those little spice notes to the riffs. It just adds so much character over being played straight. Metallic Base 1 from Classic mode is also great. It's harsh sounding, but also adrenaline pumping, and I love the subversion of sounding like it's building to something huge, but instead pulling back and restarting the loop, signifying that, hey, you're at the end of your journey, but you still have a couple acts to go. Starry Night is great with its vocal samples, and saxophone solo? Come the fuck on, guys. Misty Maze 2's Triumphant Ambience, which I didn't even think was a possible combination. I could say more, and I will. Sunny Shores perfectly encapsulating what feels like a return, but also feeling fresh at the same time. Metallic Base 2's escape sequence, making each attempt a little less grueling to run through. The menu theme. Yes, the menu theme, being one of the best head bobbers I've heard in any game. Okay, I'll stop now. Tails' Act Clear theme. Okay, I'm done. This is next level talent. Like, holy shit, there isn't a bad song in this mod. And that's the thing. It's so difficult for me to call this a mod because it's more than that. Sonic Megamix Mania is a complete transformation, not just a reimagining, not just a way to extend your playtime of Bass Mania. And you know what? I was wrong. It's not just another team's take on a 2D Sonic game. It's pure magic. A love letter to all things 2D Sonic, with its inspirations worn proudly on its sleeve. Massive, sprawling stages filled to the brim with color, super fun characters that feel distinct, and, maybe with a couple revisions, could be the best controlling 2D Sonic characters I've seen, official or otherwise. An absolutely aces soundtrack without a single bad mix in it. And the cherry on top is the lighthearted memes that make me smile for how what the fuck some of them can be. Like, seriously, what is this? There are a few snags, and not everything works 100% as intended, and you may find yourself stuck in a wall sometimes or weirdly crushed, but it's very rare, and the team is committed to providing the best experience possible and are extremely receptive of feedback, as long as you're pleasant yourself in providing said feedback. Respect is a two-way street after all. And I want whatever the team is smoking, because barring a few hotfixes, this is a finished product, and they still plan on moving the project to the Mania decompilation for a 2.0 version that adds even more features that the freedom of the decompilation allows. Jesus Christ, guys, you know you can stop, right? This is a free mod, by the way. As long as you have Sonic Mania Plus on Steam and an internet connection, it's free. A massive, massive, massive thank you to everyone behind this project. In the few of you I've interacted with, I can see the fire burning brightly to continue delivering a stellar product, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors because I am so inspired by the amount of effort you all have put into this. And with what I think is the highest compliment I can give, Megamix Mania gives me my Ratatouille moment. Thanks for taking me back to being a kid again, sitting on the floor in front of the CRT, playing through Sonic 3 and Knuckles with my brother for the first time. Thanks to all those who supported the September Wait a minute. I got to make this video on my own? Of my own free will? Am I free? Fuck. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And go play Sonic Megamix Mania. What are you waiting for?